hello! It didn't show up your picture, probably because my chat was in the other, other tab. It's fine. Hello, Kai. Thank you for the emotes. How is everybody doing? Emotes. Other cute emotes. Sorry, I'm spamming that I'm live right now to people. Das. Alright, so we're back in Hinamizawa with Higurashi. It's been a long time since I've played Higurashi. Apologies that I haven't spent much time on this game. But we're finally back to Chapter 5, Part 28, and we're back with, what's her name? Sister... Shion! Yes, Shion and Mion. I forgot. The great sisters that are totally not out to kill you. Never, never. Alright, so I decided to kick off Spooktober, or Spooktuber, as I like to say, because, you know, VTuber. I decided to kick this off with Higurashi, because Higurashi is one of the, you know, continuing, like, horror games that I play on my channel, and I really need to continue it, and also, it was also one of the, like, first anime horror shows I ever watched, so it has a huge, you know, deep nostalgia for me, and I really enjoy it, and I miss it, so we're gonna play it today. Let's continue on with Higurashi Chapter 5. Or Arc 5, I should say. Excuse me.
Hi,
let me see if I can, turn off my mouse, actually. That's gonna bother me. Can I turn off my mouse being viewed? I know you all probably don't care. Hi, AZ. Paimon! It's the Paimon emotes! Thank you so much for the follow. Alright, it doesn't matter. You all are just gonna have to see my mouse flying around. Wait. Did I miss... Okay, I didn't miss text. Okay. Let me prepare my vocal cords. So we're in, Shion's point of view. So, oh, rip. Feels bad, Pred. It's okay, just listen and respond whenever you can. I know you're at work, so don't worry about it. Alright. Story time with Heather. Let's go. For a moment, I forgot that the class president was me. Shion, I think. Yes.
Kiritsu! 委員長も少し寝不足みたいですね。
Hold on. I'm actually gonna lower the, my audio on my desktop a little bit for myself. You all should hear no difference. It's just the game's just a tad loud for me. Okay.
最近は寝苦しい夜が続きます。でも、しっかりと睡眠はとるように。
I was literally just ranting at the beginning. You literally missed nothing. You're good.
いいですね、皆さん。
Hi. I'm not sure this place can be called a school. Because there are so many different age groups. It's like a kindergarten and an elementary school blended together. Since I'd heard about what this place was like, I didn't feel that uncomfortable. It wasn't too difficult to act like Mion here. Okay, I do the howls. Ow! Thank you so much for the howl redeem. Oh, by the way, I have extended since I haven't been super active lately streaming. I have extended the classic game night challenge for another 30 days, and I probably will continue extending it until you all reach that goal because I don't know how much I'm gonna be streaming because health things. But anyways, I plan to be streaming a lot. In October because of horror games, and I love Halloween and stuff. So, let's see what kawaii phrase I want to do today. Okay, I'm gonna do a ayaya. That's my kawaii phrase today for you. Thank you for the redeem. As Sis told me, Satoshi-kun looked exhausted. I said hi to him, but he ignored me. Since I knew what he'd been going through, his pain looked apparent to me. I was interested in another person in this classroom. Satoko, Satoshi-kun's little sister. She looked as worn out as Satoshi-kun, emotionless like an abandoned doll. Everybody in this room was aware of their circumstances, but no one could do anything for them. Rip, you'll get points back. It's all good. Oh, Chrono Trigger? I actually have it on Steam, but I haven't played it. I might play it for a classic game night kind of thing. You know, as part of the challenge. But I haven't actually played it on Steam, so I have no idea. I know my brother played the original. But I think they're all about the same. It's just, it might feel a little different, between... I have no idea. Yeah. Nostalgia is life, yes. Which is why I wanted to do a classic game night, because nostalgia's so good for me. It probably won't happen until after October, because I don't really have a lot of, nostalgic horror games, except for, Silent Hill, which I could do, I guess, but, I was thinking more of, old platformers, old RPGs, those are the kind of games I grew up with, so, stuff like that. Everybody in this room was aware of their circumstances, but no one could do anything for them, so they just acted as though nothing was wrong. Mion will only let me have this one day. If I slacked off even a little bit, today would be over with quickly. I had to figure out what I should do in this limited time. I should probably talk to Satoshi-kun. About what? Anything goes. Cheer him up, sympathize with him, anything will do. Okay. I don't think I've seen what the remake version looks like. Oh my god. I cannot talk today. I apologize. I just wanted to make sure you had the link, man. The second screenshot is the remake. I literally don't see a difference. Maybe it's just me, but I don't see a difference. Maybe it's a bit, cleaner a little bit. However, Sis had told me, she said Satoshi-kun didn't communicate much with her lately, and had distanced himself from her. I guess I can't really tell because the save point is over his face, so I can't tell what the face looks like. I figured I shouldn't talk to him too casually. I wanted to, but... Kai, don't shoot other people! What are you doing? I wanted to, but maybe it was better to leave him alone. I guess, yeah, but there's really not that much of a difference to me, or I guess I don't look that much, Oh, sorry, my bad. I needed to keep Sis's warnings in mind, but instead I decided to ignore them. I forget the mouse scroll is, like, moves the text along. Okay, I promise I'm gonna make progress on this instead of looking at my Discord, but instead I decided to ignore them. I looked for Satoshi-kun during lunch break. He was walking as if looking for a place where he could be alone. I caught him in the hallway.
Satoshi-kun.
Right, that's true. You can get it pretty easy, I guess, but it depends on where you're from and the, you know, distribution. Certain consoles and games are more expensive in certain countries than others. He turned around, startled by my voice. His facial expression surprised me. He was scowling, clearly a sign of rejection. But I couldn't hesitate. I'd lose my chance if I did.
さ、元気?
He gave me a look as if saying, "Do I look fine to you?" I never expected to see an expression like that on his face. No problem, no problem. I felt like my heart was being torn into pieces. As I looked down, he spoke to me. I felt a little glad, but the next thing he said changed that.
元気だよ.
Oh, his voice is so sad.
他に用は?
My heart.
ないなら行くよ.
Ouch.
昼休みは一人になりたいんだ. そっか。バイトが大変なんだよね。疲れてるから一人になって休みたいもんね。今日もなんでしょ? 今日はどこで?
Sis had found several jobs for him. He worked at a few different places. He was helping out when necessary at any of the shops Mion introduced him to. As a result, he constantly had to do different tasks in a different environment almost every time. On top of that, he requested high-paying jobs from Mion because he wanted a large sum of money as soon as possible. In other words, he chose to mostly do manual labor. He was exhausted every day because he wasn't that physically strong.
どこでもいいだろう。それに、僕がどこで働くか、ミオンなら知ってることじゃないのかい?
Mion did help him get the job, yet Satoshi-kun didn't look thankful for that opportunity. This wasn't like him at all. Made me feel sad.
そうだよね。ごめん。
Also, yeah, the Steam version of Chrono Trigger would be the free way, I suppose, or not the free way, the legal way to play that game, as opposed to like a ROM or something. So when I do go to play it, I will be playing it the legal way because I actually bought the game.
要はそれで終わりかい?
Also, thank you for the follow, Asumi Fire. He sounded so harsh. Why was he being like that? Would he ever stroke my head again? I couldn't help my tears. They flowed onto my cheeks. Ew. We're starting Spooktuber off with sad times. Satoshi-kun looked confused for a moment, but then he frowned again.
ごめん。監督がさ、また練習に来てほしいなって言ってたよ。監督にはもうチームは辞めたいって伝えたはずだよ。戻る気はないし。たまにはさ、パッと体を動かして汗を流すのもいいと思うんだよ。ほら、スポーツって
He
いろいろ
doesn't have the time.
興味ない。
He's working and taking classes, and, like, he does not have the time. I didn't know why he was being so hostile towards me. Why did he hate me so much? I was left bewildered.
なんでどうして
バイトで忙しいからめんどくさい。
違うよ。なんで私がここまで嫌われなくちゃならないの？
自分の胸に聞けばいいじゃないか。
自分の胸に？何を？私が何をしたの？わかんないよ、サトシくん。
I couldn't control my emotions any longer. Streaks of tears ran down my cheeks. Satoshi-kun gave me a hateful glare and walked away without saying another word. I couldn't even stop him. If I tried, he'd hurt me again with another cutting remark. I couldn't bear that. I couldn't... So I just watched him walk away. I wiped my tears and went back to the classroom. I heard somebody crying from inside. What's going on? I looked around the room to see. It was Satoko. I saw her bento box on the floor. I asked one of her classmates what happened, and it seemed that Satoko had bumped into somebody's shoulder when she stood up to go wash the box out. That was all. But Satoko was crying, as if afraid she was going to be chided badly. What happened was very minor. She could just pick the bento box and things would be fine. It looked like the lid came a little loose, but it was definitely fixable. She didn't have to cry like that. Yet Satoko started begging through her tears.
助けてよ。助けてよ。いいに。
My God. Oh my God. My heart still breaks for Satoko. Always. Because of what happened with Satoshi-kun, I couldn't suppress my emotions very well. What's with the... What's with the RPG battle music again? So instead, they exploded. I stormed up to Satoko while elbowing her classmate aside. I grabbed her by the head, then threw her into the wall. Ow! Holy shit! Shield! Satoko screamed. She didn't seem to understand what had happened. She was shedding tears and shivering. She must be wondering why I did that.
なんであんたがそういう目に遭うか。助けて。にに。
Satoko cried for her brother's help again, and so I grabbed her head and threw her again. Satoko stumbled and crashed into a desk. The desk fell and the contents of the drawers scattered about. Satoko didn't even stand up. She just crouched and trembled while looking up at me. Yeah, what a scene to come back to! Well, also, welcome back, Polly. I haven't seen you in a while. If you weren't like that, Satoshi-kun wouldn't have to suffer. Don't you get it? That's what I wanted to say, but I was too angry to utter another word. That's the thing, everybody's suffering. Like, and it's no one's fault, except for the people that are being assholes, like, you know, the people actually abusing them physically. And emotionally. And psychologically. Because of, like, health stuff, I've not been streaming as much, but I mean, I've been about the same. Up and down, you know. I picked up a bunch of textbooks from the floor and threw them at her face. Ouch! Textbooks are heavy.
でもね、泣いたってね、何も解決しない。なんで泣くの？泣けば誰かが助けてくれるから。その助けてくれる人があんたの代わりにどれだけ傷ついてるかなんて想像もつかないでしょ。分かってるの？あんたの罪が。あんたなんかいなければいい。
Ouch!
苦しいな。
シオン！
嘘でも噛んで勝手に死んじゃえばいい。
Damn!
サトシ君まで苦しめるな。一人で苦しんで一人で勝手に。
Damn! シオン！
お前なんか死んでしまえ！
Shit! Oh my god! Hi, Elfie. Welcome back to Sad Times. Her desperate cries only increased my irritation. Yeah, she's really good at the cries. Oh my god. I kept on throwing things at her. Satoko curled up to protect herself and cried even harder. It's Rika! Nipa! Where's the Nipa redeems? I need them. At that point, a girl with long hair ran up and huddled over her. I knew who that was. Welcome back, Pred. Rika Furude. One of Satoko's only friends.
Satoko, いじめないでなのです。Satoko はかわいそうなのです。いじめてはダメなのです。かわいそうだから何をしても許されると思ってる？かわいそうだからサトシ君に寄りかかってもいいわけ。
The defender of the people, right? Rika, the god of the people.
甘やかしてるんじゃないよ。
I love Rika. She's still my favorite.
こいつがどこまでも甘えてるから、サトシ君が辛い思いをしなくちゃならないんだ。ダメ。
Hee hee. Actually for snacks, I have some Pocky today, so I'm gonna snack on a few of those. I'm being bad because these are not gluten-free, but I wanted to have anime snacks. I would if I could, but by the time they got to you, they would just be melted. They're the chocolate ones. I mean... my magic doesn't work for transportation. Sorry. Also, they're mine, and I'm just not going to give them to you. Okay. I'm such a slave driver, let me tell you. Rika also became the target of my anger.
私はね、その甘えきったサトコの根性を教育してやってんだよ。邪魔しやがると、あんたの頭から叩き割るよ。
Ouch. I grabbed a chair and lifted it over my head. It wouldn't hurt only a little if I threw this thing at them. Rika tightly closed her eyes and covered Satoko with her body. I didn't care what the consequences would be. I didn't care if I hurt them. Rena returned to the classroom and shouted at me. Yeah, do not get Rena involved. She will get the butcher knife. Then Satoshi-kun rushed in while pushing Rena inside. Seeming to have grasped the situation immediately, he charged straight at me. Until my body had hit the locker, I didn't understand what had happened. There was a large crashing noise. I'd left a dent in it. I crouched there in pain. Well, I knew he was gonna come back. It's too obvious.
Satoko!
Oh, it has to be in the center. Okay.
Satoko!
Satoko pushed Rika aside, jumping at her brother, and started crying again. Screw you, Rika! My brother is here. Like, Jesus.
どうしたんだよ。どうしてサトコが
私ね、何もしてないのにミオンさんが
どういうことだよ、ミオン。
Satoshi-kun shouted at me while clutching his sister. He looked fierce.
どういうことって。
が何をしたよ。 たちが何をしたよ。なんでいつもいじめられなきゃならないんだよ。どうしてだよ。
He released Satoko and rushed up to me, grabbing me by the neck.
さっきサトシ君は私に自分の胸に聞けって言ったよね。ならサトコの胸に聞いてみりゃいいじゃない。
何を。
サトシ君だって自分で認めてるんでしょ。サトコがあんたにべったり頼ってるからサトシ君の重荷になってるんでしょ。サトコがもっとしっかりしてればサトシ君がこんなに大変な思いをすることなんてない。そいつが全ての元凶なの。
I don't believe what I said was wrong, but after hearing it, Satoshi-kun went berserk.
こいついい加減なこと言うんじゃない。
いたいたたたたたたた。
Satoshi-kun grabbed my hair and threw me to the wall, just like I did to Satoko. However, I wasn't going to back down. I no longer had any control over my emotions at all.
サトシ君だってサトコを甘やかしすぎてるよ。
That's the thing here, is they all believe, like, the way they feel is right. And they're not wrong, it's just a matter of perspective, you know?
あんたがそうやって際限なく甘やかすからそいつはいつまで経ってもあんたにすがってばかりなんだよ。
お前に僕たちの何がわかる。何がわかるってんだよ。
But that's true, Shion doesn't know the inside of what's going on. She just sees Satoshi in pain, and she wants to cure that pain.
いや、母さんを村ぐるみで追い詰めて散々いじめて、そして今度は僕たちが。それがそのザキ家のやり方なんだろう。どこまでも村の裏切り者をいじめ抜く。そんなに楽しいかよ。弱い者いじめがそんなに楽しいかよ。
もうやめて。
That was Rena's voice. She stepped in, looking as fierce as a demon.
サトシ君もうやめてあげて。みーちゃんに悪気はなかった。サトシ君の力になってあげたくてその気持ちがちょっとずれて空回りしちゃっただけね。
Yes, it's very much about, like, everyone's personal, you know, point of views and how they connect and how everybody has a different, you know... Also killing people, that is true, Limit. That is true. Also, Pred, I'm not sure how long I'm gonna be streaming, but, I plan to try to get at least a couple chapters in like I usually do. Satoshi-kun looked like he wanted to say something back, but he chose not to.
みーちゃんももうやめて。みーちゃんが誰よりもサトシ君のことを心配してるのは知ってる。だけれどこんなやり方はそれの解決にはならない。そんなのちょっと落ち着いて考えればわかることだよね。
Since Satoshi-kun didn't say anything, I kept quiet too.
ほら、さとこちゃんもお弁当箱を落としたくらいで泣くことはないよ。ね？落ち着いた？さとこ、僕がお弁当箱を拾ってあげますよ。
Oh, Rika, she's so cute. Rika started picking up the bento box while its owner continued to cry. And yeah, if I have enough energy, we can definitely voice chat later.
もうすぐ先生がカレー菜園から戻ってくる頃だよ。これでもう喧嘩は終わったから先生には余計なことは言わない。いいね。
The classmates looked at each other and nodded, then started picking up the stuff on the floor.
はい。
Like, and my reaction to dropping my bento box or my lunch box or whatever, would have just been, oh shit, like, and then I would have started picking up myself. Like, it's just, she's gotten so used to being tortured over the smallest things that she just expects it.
サトシ君もみーちゃんも仲直りの握手。ほら。ごめん、こんなつもりじゃなかったのに。
Tears started to roll down my cheeks again.
僕も僕たちがいじめられてるのは大人の都合でごめん。
さあ、みーちゃんは次にさとこちゃんに謝る。はい。
I was fine with apologizing to Satoshi-kun, but I didn't want to apologize to her. The situation wouldn't be settled otherwise, so I reluctantly apologized. It's kind of like me apologizing to my sister back when we were in high school. Like, my parents, you know, always were like, well, you need to apologize for getting upset at her. And I'm like, but she's the reason why I'm so upset all the time. Why aren't you doing anything to her? Like, I don't know. It's just a matter of perspective. There's just so many sides to every story. Satoko nodded, looking discouraged. After that, Rena let me go. My head ached, so I held it with both hands. What was that? What did I do? I didn't want to use this precious time to fight. Sis had warned me. She told me that I shouldn't talk to Satoshi-kun just like that. But what did I come here for? I shouldn't have come here if I knew this was going to happen. Stupid, you're so stupid, Shion. I was overcome by emotions because I was so worried about Satoshi-kun. When did things go wrong? Were they wrong from the beginning? I got into a fight with Satoshi-kun. This was totally the opposite of what I had wanted. I regretted it. I hated myself for it. I couldn't blame myself enough. My world had been torn apart. I wished the sky would fall and kill me. Sis sounded both amazed and confused.
ただでさえ綿流しの直前でいろいろと忙しいってのに、シオンは話をさらにややこしくしてくれるな。ごめん。
Sis tried to say something, but she stopped in the middle. After listening to a few complaints, I started telling her about everything that happened today. Sis had to pretend that the trouble I caused today was her responsibility, which must have been very taxing for her.
もう当分は入れ替わる機会はない。シオン、あんた、ちょっとは私の迷惑を考えてほしいな。それは、うん。
Sis had been sympathetic, but maybe I pushed her too far this time. Of course, she'd been hesitant to trade spots, considering what I did today. The atmosphere felt awkward, so we were both silent for a while.
仮にさ、もう一回機会があったとして、シオンはどうするの
？That was a reasonable question. I wasn't prepared to answer, though. If I had a chance to go to the school once again and see Satoshi-kun, what would I do? Would I apologize to him about today? I don't think that would work. I might even upset him again, no matter how hard I tried. Okay, here's something that he was saying. It was the Sonozaki family who had been harassing his. It would only be natural for him to hold a grudge against us. But why was he expressing that now? I've been a Sonozaki to him all along. Satoshi-kun stroked my head, even though he knew that I was Mion Sonozaki.
One.
Oof. That's a lot of work, man. Take it easy, okay?
率直なところ、
Also, hold on, my
サトシ君は
chat.
園崎家を恨んでるんだよね。
Why is my chat moved? What happened? Oh, hold on, wrong button. I know it fits in that box better. Just a little... There. Perfect. I don't know why I must have moved something around and it messed something up in the chat.
だと思う。
No problem. It was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family. Oh, I know this song. So this must have been a, like, ending in the actual anime, because I recognize the song. I don't know what the song's title is, but it was our family that initiated the persecution of the Hojo family, making them into scapegoats. Even after the dam conflict, it wasn't easy for the Hojo family to live in Hinamizawa. Given all of that, it's not surprising that Satoshi-kun hates us. The Sonozaki family who put his family in a devastating situation.
でもさ、だったらなんで今頃になってなの？なんで今頃になってこうなるの？それなら
If he had rejected me in the first place, I wouldn't have wanted to get close to him. My tears wet my cheeks. I didn't bother to wipe them. It's only natural for him to hold a grudge against the Sonozakis. There's nothing unusual about it. Rather, why has he been treating me like a friend? I know how stupid the question was.
サトシが大人だったからとしか。
I know! All the tears!
そんなの。
He'd been treating me as a friend because he was mature. But now that he'd become stressed mentally and physically, he decided to reject me? No matter how hard I thought about it, I couldn't find anything to fault him with. If there were somebody to blame, it'd be somebody I'd never accused before.
なんであいつはサトシ君の一家をいじめようって言い出したわけ？ダムに賛成したのはサトシ君の親でしょ？サトシ君が賛成していたわけじゃないでしょ？なんで一家丸ごといじめようって話になったの？どうしてよ？
Mion couldn't say anything in return. Actually, it wasn't all that hard to guess the reason. The hag didn't give any specific order to harass the Hojo family. She just thought the Hojo family was getting in the way. The people around her noticed what was bothering her and took steps to get rid of it. Though of course she must have known how influential her own words were. She didn't just think it, she gave what she must have known would be interpreted as an order. She's the one to blame for initiating the attack on the Hojo family.
前にお姉はフルデの神主さんのことを和を乱すのは大人じゃないみたいなことを言いましたよね。つまりこれもそういうわけ。村中が団結しなきゃならない時に異を唱える北条家は大人じゃなかったと。
I wouldn't consider it an act of maturity or not maturity. It's just a matter of, you know, personal beliefs.
だから制裁する必要があったと。そういうわけなんでしょ？
Mion couldn't say anything in return, meaning that my accusation was the truth.
なら制裁は北条の親だけで十分じゃない。本家の秘密部屋にでも連れ込んで指の一本も跳ねてやったらいい。
The torture room in the garden. Oh yeah, every garden has a torture room.
でもそこまでで十分でしょ？サトシ君は関係ない。サトシ君には何の関係もない。サトシ君が何をしたっていうの？
Just walk up to some random person that, like, pissed you off, like... I guess it wouldn't be a random person then. Walk up to a person that pissed you off, like, 5 years ago for something stupid and be like, hey, you want to visit my torture garden? Because I totally have one of those, you know.
答えてよ。答えてよ、ミオン。ミオン。はい。ではよろしくお願いいたしますね。失礼いたします。
Mion suddenly changed her tone and hung up. She must have done that to escape from my questions. I was furious. I started redialing the number, but then I remembered that we decided she'd hang up the phone after using that phrase when she saw the hag coming. I doubted she actually saw the hag, but it was the rule, so I couldn't call back for a while. I went to the bathroom to wash my face and cool down. I turned the faucet. The water felt lukewarm. It didn't help me cool down at all. I'm disgusted by my own childishness. I just wanted to fill my void. I didn't care about him. Considering that, Satoshi-kun was very generous. But I don't know if I can forgive Satoko. That's a different story. That's hard, man. I do love that track. That's gorgeous. I was looking up the ceiling with my arms and legs spread out. It's not that I wasn't getting hungry. I didn't live with my parents. I didn't live in the dorm room. That meant I had to cook something myself when I wanted to eat. I knew that, but I still didn't feel like getting up. It had been several days since I began this empty life. It must be tomorrow. The Wada Nagashi festival, I mean. Because only good things happen on the Wada Nagashi. I heard the doorbell ringing. I ignored it at first, but it rung persistently. I started hearing knocking alongside Kasai's rude voice.
シオンさん、いらっしゃるなら開けてください。弁当を買ってきました。
I didn't ask him to. He must have known that I hadn't eaten enough and that I'd been feeling down lately.
やはり食事を取られていません
Yeah,
で
his
したか。
jacket looks way too big.
別にお腹が空いてるわけじゃないし。
But when Kasai put the food on the table, my stomach reacted in a very primitive way by making noise.
ほら、お腹が鳴っている。食べた方がいいですよ。
I was hungry, but had no appetite. I mean, I did have an appetite, but didn't have the energy to eat. There's a difference. There's a difference. Yet, I'd feel bad wasting the food Kasai had brought. Like, I have an appetite a lot of the times. Like, you know, I'm hungry, but, like, I don't want to eat a lot. I don't know if that's energy levels or what, but I experience that so often. I'm like, I feel like the only reason I eat sometimes is I have to eat. Because my stomach is crying, and I'm like, I guess I'll just shut you up and give you food. Yet I'd be wasting the food Kase had brought. I picked up my chopsticks just to humor him.
最近はばあさんがマークしてるんじゃなかったの？私のとこなんかに来て大丈夫なわけ？
おりょうさんは綿流しの打ち合わせなどでお
Speaking of,
忙
after
し
this
く、
stream, I need to get
シオン
food.
さんのことまでは最近は頭が回らないようでしたので。クリームコロッケは好物ではありませんでしたか？
Croquettes! We were just talking about that. Me and Pred were just talking about those. I made basically the Japanese version of croquettes the other day, which was very hard and did not work out, like, perfectly. In Japanese, it's pronounced koroke.
うん。美味しいです。
They're like potato, beef, and like a bunch of different like and then you mix them in like flour and breadcrumbs and you fry them and then you dip them in like a soy like sake kind of sauce. It's actually pretty good.
ありがとう。
When I nibbled on the food, Kasei read through the magazines I bought.
葛西は、うん。
I'd never talked to Kasei about something like this before. Since I've always believed myself superior to him psychologically, I hesitated to show my weakness to him.
そういう悩みも年頃にしておくのは悪いもんじゃありませんよ。
Hardship is healthy? Hold on.
葛西、あんた全部知ってる？
ミオンさんから少々力になってほしいと頼まれました。
お姉か。
心配しておられましたよ、ミオンさん。
Without responding, I threw the last croquette in my mouth. I'm not sure if it's... Croquet is the game, right? And then croquette is the food.
北条聡君の近況を知りたがっていると思いまして、少し情報を集めてきましたが、余計なお世話でしたか？
余計なお世話です。でも、せっかく集めてきた葛西の顔を立てるために、まあ一応聞いておきます。
Kasai chuckled, but stopped quickly as if thinking it rude.
北条哲平が家を出たらしいです。沖宮に実婚の関係の女性がいまして、そこへ転げ込んだようです。
哲平？ 誰？ああ、サトシ君のおじか。
Yeah, I think they are French, I believe.
家には
It sounds
叔母の
French.
北
I
条
don't know
玉江
actually
と
though.
北条聡、聡子の3人となりました。玉江は鉄平が別の女性のところへ逃げたのだと気づき、大層機嫌を悪くしたらしいですね。
ってことはあれだ。ますます叔母の里子いびりが加速して、サトシ君もそれのとばっちりで、ますますに苦労してるってことか。
サトシ君の方は分かりませんが、聡子さんの方は近所でも噂になるくらい決して良くはない状況です。
If Satoko looks miserable, that means Satoshiko must be going through equally miserable torture.
その叔母ってなんとかならないの？憎き北条家の片割れなわけだから、園崎本家で制裁しちゃおうって話にはなってないの？
She's also one of the remaining Hojos after all. The uncle is gone, so why not the aunt?
園崎本家としては北条夫妻の事故死で一応のけじめがついたので、北条関連では一切手を出すなと言命が出ています。夫妻の事故死を疑う警察が北条家近辺を未だマークしているという噂
And
があ
there's
ります
also
の
the
で。
thing, like, even if you take the aunt out of the equation, you know, it's not always gonna be a good solution, like, because they're underage, they're kids, so it's like the system is so broken, and there's no necessary, you know, it's not doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna end up together or in a good, you know, a good place once all this goes down.
事故死はお社様のたたりってことになってる
Especially
から
back
ね。
then, this was in the 70s? Like 74, I want to say? This is probably earlier, actually. This is the year before. But, like, back then, the rules were a lot less, caring, I guess. And even now, they still suck, but they're, like, slowly getting better, or they're at least a lot better than they used to be.
神罰が下ったんなら、それ以上は人間が下すまでもないってこと？
Kasai put on a faint smile. Come to think of it, is it hard not to suspect the involvement of the Sonozaki family in all the incidents said to be Oyashiro-sama's curse? Somebody strives to get rid of the hag's concerns on the day of the Watanagashi festival. Furthermore, the Watanagashi festival is going to be held tomorrow. Will the curse strike again this year? If so, who will be the victim? Now that I think about it, there were cases of multiple victims in the past. The first and third year, it was just one, but the second year, the victims were a couple. So it wouldn't be too strange if two people fell victim this year. It seems like a good time. It seems like a good time for people to die, you know? It'd be best for Satoko and her aunt to be the victims. Soshikun will be freed from every source of his worries all at once. He's not going to be happy about losing his sister. I mean...
葛西、今年のお社様のたたりの犠牲者は誰かって、もう決めるのはばあさん？ならお姉は、明日の犠牲者をもう知ってるってことになるな。どうなの葛西？何か聞かされてる？
シオンさん、私はその件については一切聞かされていません。
まあそりゃそうか。火災ごときの耳に本家の最高機密が入るわけもないか。
そういうことです。少なくとも私の関係する界隈ではそういう話は降りてきていません。ですがご存知の通り本家は裏の世界の方々に通じます。私にはその一部を垣間見ることも叶いません。
Maybe I could try asking Sis about it, but she won't talk. She's strict about keeping promises, unlike me. If the hag told her to keep a secret, she'd take it to her grave.
今年の綿流しでおばとさとこが消えちまえばいいのにな。
Ouch. The aunt, yes, the aunt can go to hell, but Satoko didn't do anything wrong. Like, she's kind of a spoiled brat at times, but I mean, she's just a kid, you know?
葛西、私は憂慮したよ。気を利かせてくれると嬉しいんですけど。
シオンさん、ご冗談を。
わーってるって。言ってみただけだって。
I took a glimpse at Kasai. It didn't look like he was actually going to do something to make my wish come true. I wasn't able to go to the village as myself, so I definitely wasn't going to the festival. I didn't care about that. Even so, I was interested in who was going to end up as the victim of the curse. If I just kept lying on this couch playing hooky, somebody would fall victim in several hours. I had no clue why it had to happen every year, but I was certain that the hag was behind it. All the enemies from the dam conflict had been punished. Only the Hojo couple was left, since most of the other enemies had already gone. Cicadas were crying loudly outside. It made me feel hot. Why was it this hot and humid in June? It's always hot and humid in June here. If Oyashiro-sama was actually punishing people, I'd pray for one thing. I'd pray that the evil ant would be punished, and I'd offer up Satoko as a sacrifice. Huh. It's hot. Japan summers, man. When I woke up, Kasei had already gone. Looks like he cleaned the table in the surrounding room. He put my dirty laundry into the hamper in front of the washing machine, too. Being a girl of a sensitive age, I didn't want a man to clean my room. Well, I'd rather thank him than badmouth him. I looked at the clock. It was late afternoon. I had to go grocery shopping. There was nothing left in the fridge, and I'd be having just rice for dinner if I didn't go. At that moment, the phone rang. Must be Kasai, I thought. I did hope it was him. He could have brought more food. Food! Delicious food! So then I wouldn't have to go shopping. Well, I was just being lazy. I didn't feel like going out at all. But it wasn't Kasai on the phone.
おねえ、そこどこ？本家じゃない？
あ、うん。公衆電話からかけてる。だから手短に話すよ。サトシから電話が来たんだよ。
サトシ君が？お姉に？
多分、私にじゃないと思う。シオンにだと思う。サトシは先日の教室での件を謝りたがってるみたいだった。だから、その電話はシオンが受けた方がいいと思って。サトシの電話は今ちょっと忙しいからすぐかけ直すって言って切ってあるの。だからシオンは今から私が言う電話番号に電話してあげて。
うん、わかった。
I was stunned for a second, but then recovered and wrote down the number on the back of a magazine.
ありがとう。
She got his digits!
すぐに電話します。
そうしてあげて。サトシは最近すごく追い詰め
Yeah,
られてるの。
stressed is an understatement.
私の声はもう届かないみたいだけど、シオンの声ならひょっとすると届くかもしれないって何の根拠もなく思ってる。
Oh, my bad. I did not read. She could have pretended to be me and handled this call, but she passed it over to me.
ありがとう、ミオ。
じゃあね、シオン。
Johnny. Before she hung up, I put the handset down. Then after a second, I dialed the number in a flash. I heard the dial tone 3 times, 4 times. And there he was.
北条です。
He sounded like an adult. His voice sounded a bit tired, too, but it definitely was the voice I loved. I got scared. I was scared that he might become sulky again if I mentioned my name. I couldn't open my mouth for a while.
サトシ君ですよね。
さっきはごめん。もう時間は大丈夫なの。
That was the Satoshi-kun I knew. He didn't sound cold like the other day.
うん、全然平気です。
After that, he went silent. I felt the urge to start a conversation. It wasn't fair. He was the one who called in the first place. Then, he finally spoke.
先日はごめん。
私こそごめんなさいです。
ミオンは謝らなくていいよ。 僕がどうかしてた。
If this was a face-to-face conversation, he would be stroking my head. It was sad just talking to him over the phone.
僕は僕たちをここまで追い込んだ奴らを、そいつらはでも決して見ようんじゃなかったんだ。だから僕は君にだけは謝ろうと思って。
気にしないで。私だってサトシ君のことをよく理解しようともせず無神経だった。
We apologized to each other a few times.
それよりサトシ君大丈夫？いろいろと大変なのにサトコの誕生日プレゼントのためにアルバイトまでしてだいぶ追い詰められてるんじゃない？
Pandora! Yeah, I'm alive. How are you?
もうバイトはやめたよ。目標額のお金はなんとか貯められたみたいだからね。
そうなんだ。
Ayaya! You gotta redeem the Ayayas now.
ならもう体を無理させなくていいんですね。本当によかった。
Okay, just checking something. Satoshi tried to say something. I didn't miss anything, right? Okay. But he dropped it instead. I'm doing alright.
僕よりサトコの方が辛い。
サトコ大変なことになってい
You
ます
need
ね。
to save your
大丈夫なんです
points.
か？
Yeah,
あれが大丈夫なように見えるのかよ。
Oh, okay. By the way, I was telling people earlier, I extended the classic game night challenge, so if you want, you could put those points to that. I don't remember how much points I had it set up to, but he suddenly sounded upset. I'd messed up.
ごめん。
Oh damn.
ごめんなさい。ごめんなさい。
I was so stupid. I had ruined this miraculous conversation with him. You know what? I think I can give you a free... Hold on. A free Ayaya. Just one, though. Wait, is it not working? Why is it not working? Hold on. Maybe it doesn't work if I do it. Let me try one more. Oh, it's on a cooldown, so I can't do it again. Is the sound alerts boink? I don't know. Let me check it real quick. Let me check it real quick. Maybe I just need to authorize it again because I did change my password because of the Twitch break or leak earlier. Oh, let me try again. Okay, we're gonna have to wait a few minutes, but I think I fixed it. So I'll try it again here in a few minutes once the once it goes off cooldown. But anyways, I think, yeah, I changed my my password, so now I have to like reauthorize everything. I had ruined this miraculous conversation with him. Toshikun didn't respond to my apology, so I stopped apologizing.
あんなに誰が見てもわかるくらいに傷ついてみんな見捨てたそこ見捨てた
見捨てたつもりなんて。
I tried to calm him down. I hated what I just said because of how hollow it sounded. I had no idea what to say next. I felt guilty. Satoshi-kun was desperate to protect Satoko from their evil aunt. But I'd wished that Satoko would die tomorrow because of the curse. I was trampling on his desperate hope.
サトコはもう擦り切れる直前なんだだから
He cut himself off in the middle and went quiet for a moment. He must have been choosing his words carefully. Then he finally spoke. His words sounded hollow.
だからせめて
遊ばせるって。
ほら明日は綿流しのお祭りじゃないかサトコをお祭りに連れ出してやってほしいんだ
それは構わないけど、どうして？
サトコもいろいろと参ってるたとえ一夜でもおばさんのいないところで羽を伸ばせたならきっと喜ぶと思うんだ
だからどうして？
どうしてって
It's not that I didn't understand why he wanted her taken to the festival. What I didn't understand is why he was asking me to do that. Was there any reason he couldn't take her there himself? I had a hunch that he might disappear, so I kept asking.
どうしてって何がだい
どうしてサトシ君が自分で連れて行ってあげないの？
Alright, let me try it again. I think it's up. Oh, 14 seconds. He fell silent. Satoshi-kun isn't good at lying or keeping secrets. Same. God damn it. It's not working for some reason. Why? Why have you abandoned me? How dare you? It's fine. Sad. I'll have to, like, see if you guys are able to do it. As opposed to me, because apparently it doesn't let me do it. But it's possible, it's just not working right now.
僕明日はちょっとバイトの関係で用事があってどうしてもお祭りには行けないんだ
He was lying. But he was also stubborn. He wouldn't admit it if I accused him.
ねえミオン明日の夜だけサトコを頼めないかな
I wouldn't want to look after Satoko, even at Satoshi-kun's request. But I'm also glad that he's relying on me.
あれだけの暴言をぶつけてそれを謝るついでにこんなことを頼むなんて
Let me look at my settings again
悪
real
いこと
quick.
だとは思ってるけど
Yeah, they might just be screwed up right now. Because I did re-sign in and everything, so it should be fine, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Wait, I might be able to test play it. Hold on. There you go! I can do a test run. Because I have the power. Only because I have the power. You're welcome.
ミオンだけが頼りなんだ。
I didn't know what to say. I did know, though, that I wasn't going to turn down his request. I really honestly think it's because I'm redeeming them. I don't think I'm allowed to redeem my own stuff. I don't know.
わかった。
I don't know why I wouldn't be,
明
but
日の晩だけだよ。
できたら明日の晩だけじゃなく、
何言ってるんですか？そんなの嫌です。明日だけですからね。
he sounded as if we were going to disappear tomorrow. I didn't like the sound of that, so I intentionally sounded sulky. We talked about trivial stuff for just a little while. When the conversation was almost over, Satoshi-kun asked something else.
ねえ、ミオン、こんなことを話すときっと精神的に病んでるって思われるんで、本当は嫌なんだけど。
ん？どうしたんですか？
ミオンは信じないよね。
何をですか？
お社様のたたり。
あ、サトシ君、何の話ですか？
お社様は確かほら、村を捨てて逃げ出そうとするとたたるでしょ。
That's the rule. Every kid in the village knows that.
どうしたんです？突然。村を捨てて逃げようとでもしてるんですか？
Though I was kidding, I wanted him to deny it.
もうそんな気はないんだ。もう。
He admitted that he had thought of it. I guess Rena told me that much.
いいじゃないですか。もうそんな気がないのなら。
でもまだ許してもらえないんだ。
え？
Satoshi-kun tried to say something, but hesitated. He was breathing so heavily. Was he sick?
具合悪いの？
ごめん。そういうわけじゃないんだ。
サトシ君は少し頑張りすぎたからいろいろ疲れてるんです。少し休んだ方がいいです。
He sounded distinctly more sickly from when this conversation had started. He breathed heavily when punctuating his words. Satoshi-kun repeated his question.
ミオン、最初の質問を。ミオンはお社様のたたりって存在すると思うかい？
What did he want me to say? Could I make him feel relieved with my answer? How should I respond? The answer was simple.
たたりなんてあるわけないじゃないですか。
I didn't know what was bothering him, but I wanted to make him feel better by laughing his worries away. But Satoshi-kun instead fell silent. Would my answers make him happy, or maybe sad? I couldn't tell. One thing was certain, I didn't make him feel any better.
変なことを聞いてごめん。
ごめん。
I felt like I let him down, so I apologized in a rush.
たたりだろうと、この村の何者かの陰謀だろうと、僕は絶対に消えない。消されない。
Oh boy. Do I have another thing to tell you?
消えないよサトシ君は。
消えないよサトコに。あのぬいぐるみを買ってやるまではね。もうすぐお給料がもらえることになってる。その日までは絶対に消えない。
He chuckled. I knew he was trying to relieve me, but it worked the opposite way. Hi, Pred. Welcome back. He sounded as though he didn't care what would happen after he bought the teddy bear.
あ、おばさんが帰ってきたからもう切るよ。
あ、うん。
ミオン。
何？
Even though he wanted to hang up the phone because of his aunt coming back, Toshikun took a breath to tell me something important.
サトコのこと頼むからね。
I should have said yes right away, but I still couldn't forgive Satoko, so I just kept quiet.
変なこと頼んでごめんさ。
He was obviously disappointed. What had I done? I wanted to apologize. I wished I could. But it was too late. The dial tone left no doubt. Now that was depressing. That's going to be the end of the chapter, I believe. I literally just did this. Hi, Fred. I give you shoutouts. Ah! The track! The track! It's so sad and lovely. A torn diary. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I was going to be the victim of the curse this year. So I'm going to disappear soon. There will be nobody left to take care of Satoko. Somebody whispered to me from behind. They told me that I don't have much time, that I won't stay as myself for much longer. So I had to make the best of the days I had left. What could I leave for Satoko? She wanted that huge teddy bear. She wanted a peaceful life in which nobody would bully her. I whispered to the person on my back, "Bestow your violent nature and formidable strength upon me. I want your peaceful mind, filled with hatred." Wow. So that was chapter 5. Alright, give me just a minute and we'll continue to chapter 6. By playing normally, what do you mean? I'm starting to get hungry. I hope I have enough NB for another chapter. Better data transfer? Yeah, depending on where you are, the connection could be really bad. I'm eating a couple more Pocky before I continue. Oh. It's just like an instrumental version of the song, yeah. It's a good song. Ooh. I'm excited. Sorry, one of the YouTubers that I follow uploaded a new scary game for Spooktuber. Exciting. I love scary stuff. Okay, let's continue to chapter 6. Woohoo! The day of the Watanagashi Festival. Here's where it gets interesting, guys. Okay, 1982. And then the original storyline takes place in 83, I believe. June 20th, 1982, 1:40 p.m. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. I had a light headache, so I laid down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I'd already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have to do anything myself. What about a homeless hipster? It's a thing, right? Yeah, homeless hipster. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. June 20th, 1982, 5:02 p.m. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-dam activists. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her even though she assumed otherwise. Yeah, I just got my hair cut a week ago, and it definitely helps. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her, and so she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers, and the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. What came first, their poor relationship with the neighbors, or her husband's affair? She didn't know herself. Her husband claimed that he got to love her because he was fed up with her attitude. She, in turn, claimed that their relationships with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. Only Satoshi was aware of what had both happened at the same time. That looks terrible. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get a divorce, their marriage being as rotten as it is. But he secretly knew the reason for that, too. It was the fortune his parents had left. Oh, see, here, we just shave off or trim it ourselves. We don't go to a barber for beard and mustache stuff. We get clippers and, what are they called? Razors. His aunt had hidden their bank book and stamp and never allowed her husband to access them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out he stole some money from her purse. This would cause yet another fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his problems had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money because his family had been, as far as he knew, poor. It's because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they heard about the money. After someone from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. It's so sad that this always happens. People are like, oh, I don't care about these children. And then they're like, we'll give you money. And they're like, money? Money? The couple would fight every day. I mean, I ain't judging you, man. If you want to go get your beard trimmed, have a good time. Like, you do what you need to do to feel good. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's house. He realized that he had no reason to return to his home, because he'd just end up in a fight with his wife if he did. And sure, why not? When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. Neither their uncle nor their aunt treated the two siblings very well. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason that couple fought was their corrupted relationship, so if they separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had thought that at first. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must be talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Aw, I got Dago! You should send me a picture of Dago. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred toward the siblings. So I guess you're home now. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset and how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satoko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in their aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much. He covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace, but he couldn't do that forever. Home is good. The relationship between Satoko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. Probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. If it was, sanitation workers would come and pick it up. He passed by the street all the time, so he noticed when there were new things dumped there. He found a plain-looking desk of the kind likely to be seen in offices. Somebody must have dumped it within the last few days. His aunt liked to bring usable trash home. She'd had Satoshi help bring a chest home just a few days ago. If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. His aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers, so she'd always open them to check before carrying the thing home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he'd been carrying all the time, until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew it was there to begin with. Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. I bet it's his bat. June 20th, 1982, 5:51 p.m.
Hey, 親父! 今年も来たね。また根こそぎかっさらってくから覚悟しときなよ。
いやその先のお嬢ちゃんは今年も元気がいいな。そっちの子は新顔かい？
この子はね、竜宮レナ。こう見えてても結構やるよ。
そんなことないよ。よろしくお願いしますね。
おう、こっちこそよろしくな。今年もいろいろ景品を持ってきたんだぜ。もちろん真剣勝負だ。根こそぎ持ってけるもんなら持ってけってんだ。
レナは可愛いものには目がないのですよ。
Rika's so cute! Alright, can we get a Nipa? I'm gonna do a Nipa because I need it in my life. Nipa! I love it.
あのぬいぐるみとそっちのぬいぐるみはレナの好みだね。
How?
かわいいね。お持ち帰り。
ダメだよ。 まだ準備中だよ。おい。
レナ、ダメダメ。まだ準備中だってさ。ちゃんと回転したら根こそぎさらってやりな。
はうもうダメだよ。レナのものなんだよ。お持ち帰り。
Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal. Everybody laughed. Everybody except Satoko. She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Her eyes looked dull.
Me? なんなんですの、リカ。
Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear in an effort to cheer her up.
今日は何も考えなくていいのですよ。いっぱい楽しく過ごしましょうなのです。
Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change.
さとこ、意地悪なおばさんは今日はお祭りには来ませんですよ。
It's not quite homeless. But yeah, it is getting a little long. I agree.
そんなことは分かってますわ。ならいっぱい笑っていっぱい楽しくなるのですよ。ニパー。
Nipa! We have been blessed with the Nipa.
ニパー。
Nipa!
ニパー。
Nipa!
あいにく
Oh
で
my
すけど、
goodness,
そう
that
いう
voice
気分になれま
actor
せんの。
is way too good at the Nipas. I cannot.
申し訳ございませんけど、放っておいてくださ
We
いま
got
せ。
3 of them! 3!
どうしてさとこは笑いませんですか？
Satoko sulkily glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say that Rika should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival was. When she went home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko, get mad, and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would hear. How can she have fun, even just for today, while knowing all that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika.
ではさとこの辛いのが今日でおしまいになるなら、さとこは笑ってくれますですか？
Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might do something to help. But soon after she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? Because of Rika? How? Satoko knew there was really nothing Rika could do. And so after just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
リカ、くだらない気休めは聞きたくないですわ。さとこ。
Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before.
もう決まっていることなのです。
June 20th, 1982, 8:11 p.m. Satoshi snuck out the window after supper. He heard the distant ruckus at the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Higurashi ceremony, there would be a raffle drawing. So there were 2 types of people in Hinamizawa. The people who would go home for dinner, and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. Either relaxing at home or still at the festival. There were only those 2 patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets. On that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this. But he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he'd become a wild animal running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, and his sense of smell. All his senses were keener, including his 6th sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance, if only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange. So he had stepped into another world. He'd been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. but now he felt as though he had metamorphosed into a different person. Did he become part demon-ish? June 20th, 1982, 8:37 p.m.
それではお楽しみ抽選会の説明をこれより始めますので
Okay!
どうぞ皆さん、櫓の周りにお集まりくださいな。
The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they'd held a raffle. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people at the festival. At first, the prizes were things the committee members had donated, but Oreo, not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had them thrown away. Oreo took the initiative and brought a brand new TV, a washing machine, a cooling fan, and other things for the raffle. Hi, Grieving Doll, how are you? The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Oreo was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough, in her opinion. Some of the members thought it would be difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so it might be the very first and last raffle.
I
hate her. Just her, like, you can just tell by her face that she's just not a good person.
だいぶかかったんじゃないの？運営費で立て替えするよ。
すったらんな程度で建て替えなんてアホらしい。銭金の問題じゃないね。たく。
まあまあそう言わないで。
I'm doing alright. Pretty much about the same, you know, kind of up and down, but
お嬢さんのおかげでできた抽選会なんだから。
こんな私一人でどうにかすりゃええんちゅうわけとちゃいねや。パホクサ。
Oh, wait. Sorry. Pulling up things. Things! No, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. What did I click on to open this panel? Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. I was gonna send you hugs, and I forgot all of my buttons. I am way out of practice. The mayor, Kimayoshi, was having a tough time pacifying Oryu. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimayoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident.
どうしたの牧野さん。そんなに息を弾ませたら心臓が破れちゃうよ。
Kimayoshi made a joke to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimayoshi. Even without hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimayoshi, it was plain as day there was bad news.
お嬢さん、悪い話なんだけどいいかい？
Kimayoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Orio's side and spoke in a very serious tone. I don't remember who Makino is. Kimayoshi whispered to her the exact same words Makino told him.
いや参ったよな。
参るも参らんもなんね。3度あっちゃんは4度あるっちゅうこっちゃな。
お嬢さん、そりゃ笑えないや。
面白い話でもなんでもなぎゃ。面倒が増えただけっちゃね。
警察が今身元を調べてるらしい。どうも相当顔面をやられてるらしくて、身元の特定が難しそうなんだと。
顔がわからんでもおおよその想像はつくっちゃな。
え？心当たりがあるのかい？
Oryu glared at Kimayoshi, then started chuckling.
バーカが綿流しの祭りにも顔を見せん。ふっちゃんとお社様を敬って祭りに来ちょるんはそんな目には合わなんとよ。
Oreo kept laughing. Kimayoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. I hate her. She's such an old witch, like, in a bad way. Like, there's, like, the nice witch and, like, the old baddie witch that just is evil for no fucking reason. That's that kind of witch right there. June 20th, 1982, 9:04 p.m. Oh!
しかし
It's the detective! Hey, buddy!
こりゃ無残なもんっすね。
What's up, yo?
クマちゃん、
Oishi!
死に方ってのは本人が望んだものでない限り、どん
Oh,
なでも
that's Kuma. Okay, I haven't seen his picture yet.
お悔やみ申し上げちゃいますよ。そっちどう？
He talks to him all the time, though.
ポッケの中身とか個人が特定できそうなものは？
The forensic investigators shook their heads.
サンダル履きで服装もラフ。近くにお住まいの方でしょうね。服装の特徴から周辺に聞き込みをすればすぐに割れそうっすね。
それしかないな。課長からこの山一口さしてかかりそうだからって脅されてます。その辺注意してくださいよ。
了解っす。
Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them directions.
入江先生が到着しました。
Oh, it's
先生、
Irie
あそこで
sensei.
す。
A young doctor got out of his car and headed in the victim's direction. I haven't seen him in a while
どうも
either.
遅れて申し訳ありません。抽選会の手伝いの最中だったもので。
先生、今日の祭りでだいぶ飲んでたでしょう。アルコール本当に抜けてます？後で風船でも膨らましてもらっちゃおうかな。
ご安心を。運転はスタッフに代わってもらってますので。
そりゃ卒がない。おい、先生通してあげて。
There was an area cordoned off with blue plastic sheets. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Irie pass. Excuse me. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated with small alphabetized plates.
こういうものは見慣れませんね。
Irie took out a handkerchief and covered his nose.
匂いがダメな時は口呼吸にするんですよ。まあこういう匂いは目でも嗅げちゃうかな。ね。
The body appeared to be that of a middle-aged woman. It was soaked in blood. Looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why no one could be certain it was a middle-aged woman was because its face was completely pulverized.
ひどい。
十中八九怨恨の線でしょうな。血痕とサンダル裏から見てここで殺したのは間違いないでしょう。でも見ての通りここは人通りが少ないと言ったって往来のど真ん中です。ここで頭部がひしゃげるまで殴り続けたってのはちょいとまともな話じゃないですからね。でね、ほら腕とか見てみてください。
Oishi put on latex gloves and lifted the corpse's arm.
腕は綺麗なもんでしょう。
それはつまり腕で防いだとか抵抗したとか、そういう痕跡がないという意味ですね。
さすが高学歴。仏さんはおそらく最初の一撃で脳震盪かなんかで気絶したんじゃないかと思うんです。で、推しは確実に殺した手応えを得るためにさらに打撃を加えた。さらに言えば仏さんはその時うつ伏せに倒れたように思うんですよね。ねえ、服の汚れ具合からの勘ですが。
遺体は仰向けですね。
Oh, sorry. Wrong
星
button.
は後頭部を散々潰して明らかに頭蓋骨が砕けてる手応えを得ているにもかかわらず仏をこう仰向けにひっくり返して
Hello!
わざわざ顔面を潰してるんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
We're talking about murder. Welcome to stream. You're deaded? So's this girl, am I right? Irie looked like he was going to throw up, both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's reasoning.
遺体の顔面を殴るってのは
You ate too much
私
food?
の経験じゃかなり怨恨の線が強いです。それもだいぶ濃厚な濃密なね。ってことはつまり星は仏のかなり近辺にいるのは間違いないかと。
私を呼んだのが救命活動ではないというこ
Oh,
と
she
は
fucking dead. You
よ
ain't
くわかりました。
you ain't resuscitating her. No, she dead.
先生、この人が誰かわかりますかね。わかれば聞き込みの手間がだいぶ省けるんですがね。
Irie looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Irie left the investigation area without saying anything. It's the ant, I believe.
私にはわかりかねます。
And I'm pretty sure it was Satoshi with the bat.
本当に
Oishi smirked and looked into Irie's eyes. Or maybe they just want me to think that, and it wasn't. As though Irie was hiding something.
別に隠してなんかいません。
先生もアルコールがまだ抜けきってないだけですよ。頭が冴えたら思い出すかもしれません。
Likely story.
思い出したら教えてくださいね。
Oishi tapped Irie on the back. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned.
おいさん、課長から無線です。1号車の無線っす。
The reason why these models, like some of them look so different from each other, is because the one on the left is the new manga gamer models, which they only did those for the very important characters. And then the one on the right is from the console version, which were not redone in the manga version. But I have the manga gamer models up because they're very well done. So, like, half of them are from the console and half of them are from the manga gamer version. So, it's kind of a mix of both.
入江の先生、ごまかしたな。いえ、仏の聞き込み急いでください。ほぼ間違いなくこの近くにお住まいです。
June 20th, 1982, 9:39 p.m.
おいさん、連れてきました。
どうもどうも。こんな夜更けに申し訳ありませんね。明日も学校なのに本当に申し訳ないです。
いえ。
Oh. It's Satoshi.
お父さんはどちらへ？
うちの寄付はあまり帰ってきませんので。
おお、いつ頃から？最後に帰ってきたのはいつ？
さあ、義母と喧嘩しているのを聞く限りは、沖宮でどこかのキャバレーの人と同棲しているとか。
I'm doing all right, I suppose. You know, kind of about usual, up and down, but I'm okay. How you doing, Leon?
最後に会ったのはあまり覚えてないんですけど、先々週ぐらい。
お父さんの連絡先はわかります？
That's fair, that's fair. Usually when people ask me, I'm like, in real life, I'm like, meh. Which is basically okay-ish, like, meh. I mean, up and down, left and right, you know, things happen.
いえ。
キャバレーの人と同居してるって言いましたよね。なんてお店かわかります？
No, it's part 28, and we have not finished solving any mysteries yet, really.
いえ、沖宮のどこかにあるとしか知りません。
お父さん
But
の
we're
名前
working
は？
on it. Detective Heather is on the case, don't worry.
北条哲平です。
Oishi signaled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
お父さんとお母さんはあまり仲良くなかったですか？
程度の度合いはわかりませんが、よくはなかったと思います。
率直に聞いて申し訳ないですけど、お母さんに恨みを持っていた人間とか 知っていたら教えてほしいんですがね。
I mean, me, Satoshi is 100% holding a grudge.
よくわからないです。
If I remember correctly, it was Satoshi who killed her, but like, why is he so close to the crime scene?
そうですか。
That seems suspicious.
じゃあもしも思い出したらでいいので。
And it also makes me think, if he is the one that killed her with the bat, then like that really does make me think that all of these are murders, and then like all of the other ones are that are disappearances are the people that murdered the victim, which is why they like can never find out who actually killed them, because the person that murdered them disappears. So I have like this feeling that it's not, just the curse, it's not just people killing people. I think it's a mixture of both.
これ私の名刺です。
That's my theory right now.
ここに電話番号ありますので。
はい。
じゃあ後日またいろいろとお話を伺うこともあるかもしれません。もしもお父さんと連絡がつきましたら、沖宮警察署の大石まで至急ご連絡をとお伝えください。くまちゃん、北条さんを自宅まで送ってあげてください。
いえ、一人で帰れますから。
いえ、そんなこと言わずにぜひ送らせてくださいな。お母さんを襲った犯人がまだ近くにいる可能性があるんですよ。あなたもまた狙われない保証なんてないんですからね。
お気遣いありがとうございます。でも本当に結構ですね。
Stoshi tried to reject the offer, but Oishi and Kumagai insisted. In the end, Stoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave, when Oishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he'd forgotten to say.
北条さん。
はい。
大丈夫ですよ。心配しないでください。犯人はすぐに捕まりますよ。
手がかりとかあるんですか？
ありますよ。
どんなですか？
Like you.
捜査上の秘密ですよ。
That's confidential. Everything's always confidential with this guy. Ordinary people might think that Oishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a joke. Everything Oishi does is to fish out information. He acts like this old, this old guy that's just, casually cracking jokes and laughing, but everything he does for a reason. He is smart. He is a sly old fox.
人を殺すってのはかなり感情の高ぶるもんなんですよ。そりゃ冷静に殺してみせるロボットみたいなのも、
感情が高ぶると何かわかるんですか？
人は極限まで感情が高ぶるといろいろ体に反応が出ます。発汗とか脱毛とかね。殺人現場に犯人の毛髪が落ちているってことは割とあることなんですよ。
That's an interesting thing to think about.
まあここは屋外ですからね。現場が絨毯の上ってのとはだいぶ勝手が違いますが。
犯人の毛髪は
さあね、鑑識の連中が大列組んでさっきから行ったり来たりしていろいろまだ結果待ちでね。何が出るやら。明日
があるので今夜はもう帰ります。
そうなさってください。クマちゃん、送ってあげてください。
了解っす。
では北条さん、また近いうちに進展があったらお知らせしますよ。北条さんも何か思い出したりしたらぜひ教えてくださいね。憎き母の仇の逮捕に協力してまいりましょう。
Damn. Sometimes I really like Oishi, and sometimes I really don't like him. Really just depends on what's going on. I like him when he's on my side. But that's kind of rare. He was in Chapter 4 and in Chapter 1, but in the other chapters he was not. Like that one chapter where he showed up in the middle of the woods while he was hiding. Like, while Keiichi was trying to hide the freaking bat that he used to kill the one guy with. And he just pops up like, "Hey Keiichi, what you doing, man?" And Keiichi's like, "Aw, shit." This is called the morning after the Watanagashi festival. Oh no, wait, he wasn't hiding the murder weapon. He was, that's right, he went to go dig up the body and the body wasn't there. Sis called me the morning after the Watanagashi festival to tell me that the curse had struck again for the 4th time. The victim was the evil aunt who was harassing Satoshi-kun and Satoko. Satoshi-kun's suffering would be over now, since the problem was with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated, but I wasn't in the mood for some reason.
犯人ってもう警察は目星をつけてるのかな?
Sis went quiet when I asked that.
さあね。大石の野郎がしつこく聞き込みをして回ってるみたい。犯人は近しい人間に違いないと思ってるようだね。
Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. If I suspected Satoshi-kun of being the murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have to mention the obvious.
サトシ君って祭りの日にアリバイあります？
ああ。
はあ。
I heaved a huge sigh.
バカですね。サトシ君は祭りに来ていた。そういうことでいいじゃないですか。
あ、うん、そうだよね。気が利かなくてごめん。
I heaved another sigh. Sis was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of his aunt alone would raise enough suspicion.
じゃあ、やっぱり、サトシが？
サトシ君が殺したかどうかが問題じゃないでしょ。サトシ君が犯行の時間帯にアリバイがあったかが重要なんです。ったく。
後で警察がうちに来るみたいだから、来たらサトシは祭りで一緒だったって言うよ。
おねえ、取ってつけた嘘なんか何の役にも立たないです。何も手を打たなかったなら、今さら小細工しても無駄ってことです。せいぜい正直に喋ってください。
So are they like, why are they covering for him? I'm confused. Were they in on this? That they knew he was going to do this?
お姉は芝居が下手なんだから、変に意識するとかえって勘ぐられますからね。
うん。ごめん。
She sounded depressed. I was the only one who should have been depressed. Mion usually handled things well, but she's not too good with emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Sonozaki family. Mion must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject.
シオン、最近はあまりバイトに行けてなかったでしょ。
ご検察痛み入ります。おかげさまで。
あ、うん。ごめん。今日は私、夜まで姿を隠してるから、バイトに出られるんじゃない？
Sis has been appearing in public places during festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I hadn't been able to pretend to be her. I hadn't been able to work. As someone who had to support myself, it was a bit of a pain. To be honest, I didn't feel like working, but I couldn't afford to be sitting around either. When I locked my apartment door before leaving, the door of the next apartment door opened, and Kasai appeared.
シオンさん、お出かけですか？
そんなとこです。お姉が姿を隠してくれるそうなんで、久々にバイトに出ます。カサイ、暇だったらおじさんの店まで車を出してもらってもいい？
シオンさん、しばらくはバイトを控えられた方がよろしくはないですか？事件のせいで警察は園崎家界隈を監視しているようですし、あまり姿を表に出さない方がいいのではないかと思います。
お気遣いは嬉しいけど、バイトしないと食費もないわけですし。
Kasai might suggest he donate money to my cause. However, I had sworn to myself when I started living here that I wouldn't depend on Kasai. While I don't obey anyone else's rules, I stick to my own. Kasai could tell that I was adamant in my decision. So after repeating himself a couple of times as formal procedure, he decided to give me a ride after all. Every time we went to my uncle's store by car, we stopped at this traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but it still irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I was startled to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken with him on the phone just a couple of days before, it'd been a while since I saw him last.
葛西、悪いけどおじさんにやっぱ今日のバイトは行けなくなったって伝えてくれる？私ここで降ります。
え？シオンさん。
Kasai looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. The light turned green. The car behind him honked while Kasai was shouting at me, so he had to start moving. Satoshi-kun was on his bike, but he was going really slowly. I caught up with him in a flash and tapped him on the back.
ハロロー。沖宮で会うなんて奇遇ですね、サトシ君。
If I talked to him with a smile, he might smile back. So I smiled as brightly as I could.
Mio.
He looked tired, as always. But as I could tell, he was trying to smile back. My worries suddenly disappeared. I was certain I looked happy. I was aware of that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun.
何があったか知らないけど、ミオンが楽しそうだね。ええ、楽しいですよ。サトシ君の機嫌が良さそうなので、私も釣られて機嫌が良くなっただけです。
When I teased him, he looked a bit embarrassed. It was like we were back in the good old days. I felt even happier than before.
サトシ君こそ、何かあったんですか？何か機嫌が良くなるようないいことがありましたか？いいことなんかないよ。おばさんが亡くなって、警察とかご近所とか、いろいろ大変だよ。
I might have asked something dumb. He sensed to be okay with it, though. He'd frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued smiling gently. He looked worn out but satisfied, like he had accomplished something great. That was the mood I sensed from him. So I was convinced. The one who killed that wicked aunt who tormented Satoko was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I knew it intuitively. So I admitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt and how badly he was driven into a corner. I knew the environment and the situation he was in. And I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all of that. So I admitted all those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked.
サトシ君はどこかへお出かけですか？あ、バイトかな？正解。その前に寄り道なんだけどね。
I thought he quit his job.
寄り道？毎日ちゃんとショーケースにあるのを確認しないとなんだか不安で。
Conversation reminded me. The reason he started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. I recalled that the teddy bear was very expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. I wasn't sure what day, though. Wait, didn't he say he quit his job? That's what I said! Maybe he was going to greet his ex-coworkers and clean out his locker or something? Either way, he'd be completely free very soon. Maybe he hadn't been paid yet. That's why he wanted to check if they still had the teddy bear. Maybe he was only getting paid on Satoko's birthday. When he got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. He looked relieved that it hadn't been sold yet.
よかったよかった。大丈夫。ちゃんとあるよ。買えるだけのお金は稼げてるわけですよね。なら予約とかしちゃえばいいのに。もう。
He probably hadn't thought of that. He really did need someone to look after him. I looked into the display window over his shoulder. Teddy bear wasn't that cute in my opinion. It looked huge and cramped in the middle of the store's showcase. Really, it looked more like a display model than an item for sale.
値札がついてないけど、これ本当に売り物なんですか？これ一体いくらするんです？売り物なのは確認したから間違いない。
He didn't even ask?
値段は？予算は大丈夫？大丈夫だよ。ちゃんと確認してあるよ。
Soshikun thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky.
予算が大丈夫なら問題ないじゃないですか。なら予約しちゃいましょう。その方がサトシ君も心の荷が下りていいでしょうしね。
How am I Friday? Well, you see, I'm supposed to be at my anime convention, so I probably won't be free, like, all day. We entered the store and looked for a clerk.
誰もいないのかな。
But I'm free tomorrow. Hi, Nerd. How are you?
そりゃ好都合です。サトシ君、お給料日を待たずにぬいぐるみが手に入るかもですね。
Yes, for sure.
ダメだよミオン。
I definitely want to
はい
play.
けないよ。冗談ですって。軽く受け流してほしかったんだけどな。ひょっとして私が盗っ人の真似を平気でできる女だと思ってます？
Thanks, Limit.
あ、ごめん。
Honestly, same, Nerd, to be honest. Like, I'm not dead, but a lot of shit has happened, and this year has been the absolute worst. Oh, my bad, I'm not reading. Satoshi-kun smiled apologetically. I puffed up my cheeks to tease him. It had really been a while since the last time we did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though all those things simply vanished into the air around us. Yeah, everybody talked about how last year was the worst year, but this year for me has been the absolute worst. I found an old person napping in the back. He must be the clerk, I thought. He looked to be fast asleep. I poked his shoulder, but he didn't look like he was going to wake up. When I did that, a middle-aged woman wearing an apron came in.
おじいちゃん店番頼んだのにすっかり眠りしちゃったお客さん来てるってのにもうごめんなさいねうちのおじいちゃんももうすっかりボケちゃって
The middle-aged woman shook the old man awake and told him to go back to the living room. She went to the cash register after that.
お恥ずかしいところ見せちゃってごめんなさいね何かお買い上げ
あ、買うんじゃなくて予約なんですけどあのショーケースの中の一番大きいぬいぐるみなんですけど
あれいいの値札見たかなり高いけどお小遣い
あ、はいギリギリ足りるはずです
もうすぐバイトのお給料が入るそうなのでそれまで予約したいんですけど
The woman looked a bit hesitant at first, but she eventually wrote down Satoshi-kun's name and accepted the reservation. Yeah, this is something that they, like, really only do. I guess, they don't really do this in most stores anymore. Like, I guess they have, you can put certain, like, technological things on hold. Like, reserve them. I forget what it's called. Layaway or whatever. There's a few other things you could do that with, but it's not super common that that happens anymore. Like, most of the time, it's usually first come, first serve for most things. Satoshi-kun received a slip of paper.
ね。これでもう誰かに先に買われちゃう心配はもう必要ありません。
うん。お給料がもらえるのはもうすぐなんだけどね。これで安心できる。
He would have kept coming to check every day if he hadn't done this now. He would have spent his time needlessly worrying. Satoshi-kun looked very relieved indeed.
これならもっと早くに予約をしていればよかったな。
普通の人は欲しいと思ったら即予約します。そういう思考に至らないサトシ君はちょいと希少です。
Oh my gosh. Your therapist was a scammer? What the fuck? That's so awful. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. That sounds terrible. My stuff has been about the same. Like, my health's been, like, up and down, and I still can't find, like, you know, anything like super wrong, but they're still running tests and trying to like, you know, their best to find things. And I have been referred to a psychiatrist that is apparently a real psychiatrist because it was referred by my doctor, so I'm assuming it's not a scam. Oh my god, that's terrible. Yeah, so I'm like trying to do my best to get better, but you know, things happen and it takes time, you know? It's so very fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Soshkin looked like he'd forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't trust, like, anything that's, that's not a, you know, professional, like, business or not, like, a referral or something, because it's like, how do you know it's actually real? You know, but I don't like, I'm not like blaming you for not knowing, but it's like, yeah, that's rough. Soshikun looked like he'd forgotten everything that had happened up until yesterday.
でも、ありがとう。
Soshikun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I felt my face reddening already. Even before he touched my head, I felt tingly, remembering the last time. I didn't care about the murder or whatever else had happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, everything would be alright. Oh my gosh. That's terrible. Yeah, I've heard that it takes a long time here, too, to get, like, I filled out the paperwork and everything, which was super extensive. And, I got it submitted, but I haven't heard anything. And it took me probably a month or so to actually get called to fill out the paperwork, you know? I'd be content as long as we could live happily from today onward. But mental health is just not appreciated. Like, it's just... nobody understands it, and everyone just thinks it's just a freaking joke. And there's just so much more going on there. But Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes. Wow. Yeah, doctors and health stuff is like awful, especially right now. Everything's like so backed up. I slowly opened my eyes, only to realize the situation had drastically changed. There were 4 men in suits blocking our way. It looked as though they'd been waiting for us to exit the toy store. Oh, of course it's you. Hey, bud. I never get tired of that laugh. The oldest of the 4 men stepped forward while smirking. I'd never met this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. He was probably a cop. I ran a search for information in my head, and found some right away.
Konnichiwa. Hojo-san, Sonozaki-san. いい雰囲気だったところを邪魔しちゃって実に申し訳ないです。
Yeah, the psychiatrist I'm supposed to go see specializes in sleep health and, you know, behavioral health, so... And I've had some issues sleeping and getting to sleep, so I'm hoping I can get an appointment, like, soon, but everything's, you know... takes forever to get anymore. Who knows, maybe. This must be Kurado Oishi, the cop who's investigating the series of mysterious deaths. He thinks that the Sonozaki family is behind all of the cases. In other words, he's an enemy of the Sonozaki family. He has deep connections with other investigation divisions in the police force, and likes to nose around the businesses in the area. He annoys the Sonozaki family enough as it is by interfering with its Yakuza business, let alone his suspicions on the series of mysterious deaths. Yeah, there's so many, like, little things, and I feel like I have a lot of mental conditions that, like, I have no freaking clue. And, like, if I can get, you know, diagnosed with some of those, and we can figure out, like, a treatment plan, then I feel like I can, you know, get myself one step forward to getting better, you know? Aw, thank you! I miss talking to you, nerd. If you have like a Discord or a Twitter, like we could message each other. I mean, I talk to people that follow me all the time on Discord and in Twitter Messenger, so naturally, as the family's successor, he's not a welcome figure to Mion Sonozaki. And I haven't been streaming very much because of my health, because I have a lot of just a lot of anxiety, and I'm really fatigued all the time, and yeah, I don't have a lot of energy most of the time anymore, but I'm gonna try to stream some more for Spooktober, because, you know, horror games are a big favorite of mine. I tried to imagine how Sis would react.
ありゃ、大石さんですか。お仕事ご苦労様です。大の大人が4人も揃って、おもちゃ屋さんに何かご用で？まさかお人形さん買いに来たってわけでもあるまいに。
No worries. You can join my server, and I can follow you on the Twitters. Let me do that now before I forget, because I will. Well, I hadn't followed you on Twitter, so... Excuse me while I go through all of my socials right now. Yeah, I changed my password, so now I have to like log in to everything. It's fine. Everything's fine. How have I not followed you yet on here? What the hell? I am a terrible friend. I am so sorry. Alright. Find users. How do I add friend? I haven't done that in a while. Here we go. Add friend, username. Nerd3062. Okay, I believe I just sent you a friend request on Discord. Are you in my my server? If not, then I will send you a link, a one-time link, and you can join, and then we can talk about stuff. Okay, I should have sent you a link. Hey! Welcome to the server. Good times. Alright, so now we're on, Now we're on the Discords and the Twitter, so you can message me on there. So, even if you have nothing important to say and you just want to talk, like, I'm cool with that. Like, we all need to talk sometimes, and I'm happy to help you if I can, you know, be that person you can talk to. So, anyways, continuing on. Welcome back, Pred. Glad to see you've come back again. I know what they want, and it's not a toy. It's probably not me, either. They want Satoshi-kun. I took a look at Satoshi-kun. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent our escape.
Hojo-san. 実はですね、ちょいと伺いたいお話がありまして。
I'm sure you would, Oishi.
何それ？任意同行ってやつ？サトシ君、こんなのに付き合う必要ないよ。行こう。
Yeah, I gotta get dinner soon. I'm so hungry. I pushed on his shoulder. But he just stood there, looking pale and bewildered. Yeah, I suck at chopsticks. I cannot use those. I always use a fork. Bewildered? No, he actually looked resigned. Then, I recalled Sis's mistake. It's obvious that he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't even have to look at the crime scene. How could Mion have failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making anything up at all. She must have not told them that she knew where Satoshi-kun was. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It was just a matter of time until the police uncovered Satoshi-kun's complete lack of an alibi. Police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. He probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. If he was taken to the station and grilled by Oishi, he'd confess in a minute. Somebody had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there for him. I had to step up now. But how? Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told them, saying it was a mistake? This wasn't going to work. If I had more time, I'd come up with an excellent idea. But I didn't have that much time at all. To pressure him, the cops were drawing nearer. Satoshi-kun must have felt intimidated. He might end up turning himself in due to the pressure while I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something. Otherwise Satoshi-kun might give in. I have to save him. Oishi drew nearer. Satoshi-kun fell back.
大して時間は取らせませんから、そんな怖がらないでください。
It won't take much time. He just said it. He just said he wouldn't let him out if he caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you've worked for will be ruined. Satoshi-kun looked like he was at his breaking point. Oishi was clearly aware of it. Oishi smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi-kun's shoulder. I felt electrified when I saw that. That hand shouldn't be allowed. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. That hand shouldn't be allowed to touch Satoshi-kun. The moment Oishi touched his shoulder, he'd give in. He'd go to the police station and confess everything.
Satoshi-kunにアリバイがあるか知りたいわけですよね。
Oishi turned his face towards me. His hand left hanging in the air. I wasn't very prepared for this. I just had to stop Oishi, no matter what. I only needed to gain some time. I didn't really matter what I said.
そうですよ。北条聡さんのアリバイが知りたいんです。私たちの捜査がまずいからなのかな。犯行の時間帯にどうしても北条さんのアリバイが見つけられないんですよ。仕方ないから恥を忍んでご本人に直接そのあたりをお伺いしようかと思いましてね。
そんなの本人に聞く必要ないです。私がアリバイ証明しますから。
ありゃ、そりゃ本当。なら助かるな。あの晩園崎さんが神社にいてお祭りの最後まで過ごしていたことはすでにあなたからも聞いているし、そのあなたがそこで北条さんとも一緒だったと言ってくれるなら一番楽なんですがね。でもあんた以前そのあたりをお聞きしたとき、 北条さんのことは一言も言ってませんよね。実はいましてって、今頃おっしゃるおつもりで？祭り会場の誰一人北条さんを見ていないのに、あなただけは見ていたとそうおっしゃるおつもりで？
そうです。私と一緒にいました。それで十分です。
Hi, hi, Elfie. Welcome back.
あなたが仲良しのお友達と終始一緒にいたのは分かっているし、私も会場で実際それでも一緒にいたとおっしゃるわけで。
Nice. Comfy times are the best times.
そいつはちょっと苦しくない？ん？
Luigi approached me with a creepy smile. Was he teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? I didn't think so. He was frustrated due to being interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish.
祭り会場でずっと一緒に遊んでたのに、すっかり忘れてて今頃になって思い出したと。
Yeah, I don't know how people eat with chopsticks. It just takes way too much time and is way too inconvenient.
園崎美音さん。
I did get a little scared, but I couldn't stop myself. I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my real identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would certainly capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences after that.
っていうか、私ミオンじゃないですし。だからもともと綿流しになんか行ってません。
あ？
サトシ君とは綿流しの晩は沖宮のファミレスでずっとおしゃべりしてました。エンジェルモートって店ですので、どうぞ店長にも確認を取ってください。
Rishi was still smirking, but he apparently felt confused.
あんた何を言ってるの？あんたミオンじゃないなら誰なわけ？
園崎シオンです。ミオンの双子の妹です。初めてお会いしますね。こんにちは。
Rishi looked perplexed, but like he didn't believe what I'd said. He frowned.
園崎美音さんに双子の妹がいたなんて、あんた大人をからかってるの？
からかってなんかないですよ。どうぞ戸籍でも何でも調べてみてください。それともお姉を呼んで二人で並んでみせれば信じます？
All the cops looked bewildered now.
園崎シオンさん？
はい。シオンですが、何か？
あんたにもちょっと来てもらってもいいですかね。あんたが園崎シオンさんで北条さんと一緒におられたって言うんなら、あんたにも話を聞かせてもらいたいもんです。
ええ、望む。お手柔らかによろしくお願いいたします。
The cops gathered at the car and started discussing something. Looked like they never expected this to happen. I hope to be able to fake Satoshi-kun's alibi for at least a little while. It shouldn't be too difficult to talk to Sis about this, then forge up an alibi together.
サトシ君、何を聞かれてもエンジェルモートで私とおしゃべりをして過ごしていたと言い張ってください。
I'm getting hungry. I'm going in for more snacks.
私が何とかしますから。何を聞かれてもよく覚えていないとか、サトシ君なら下手なことは言わず黙り込んだ方が無難かもです。
Satoshi-kun wore a startled expression. I was telling him something important, he'd apparently decided not to listen.
サトシ君、聞いてます？ここでしっかりしないと刑事たちの思うツボです。
He must have been feeling deceived. No wonder. I just confessed that I wasn't Mion, but her twin sister. I really had been deceiving him.
怒ってます？
なんで？
騙してて。
Satoshi-kun started laughing. I didn't know why he'd laugh, because he wasn't the type of person who would laugh in order to hide something.
たまに教室のミオンと話が食い合わないことがあったから違和感は感じてたんだ。やっとわかったよ。
怒らないでくれるんですか？その騙してたこと。
Oh, wrong button. It was like he didn't know whether he should be upset about it or not. Or maybe he was only pretending to be that way.
はじめまして。じゃないんだよね。
はい、そうなります。
It's mostly middle index and ring finger. How do you hold them? I don't get it. I've never understood chopsticks, but I didn't grow up using them, so.
そっか。シオンってどう書くの？
詩を読むの詩に音でシオンです。
シオン。
Interesting.
いい名前だね。
Aww.
じゃあお二人さん、すみませんが署までご同行願いますかね。粉末でよければコーヒーか紅茶かくらいは選べますよ。
Tea, please. Oh, that's the end of that chapter. I was actually expecting more, but I'm okay with this. Either Satoshi-kun was smart, or very lucky. Or maybe it wasn't him. Police found nothing at the crime scene to indicate his involvement in the murder. Yet Satoshi-kun was still the prime suspect. Considering his home environment, he had a strong enough motive. It's one of those things, like, you just get so used to doing something that you don't know how to describe it, you know? It's like, it's just habit, like, your routine in the morning, or, like, kind of like how you hold a fork, you know? It's like, it's just easy, because we know how to do it, because we've done it forever. But we never, like, remembered how to... He had no alibi. The police had everything other than physical evidence. I can't even, like, explain or figure out how that's possible. The police had everything other than physical evidence. It wasn't surprising that Oishi took a chance. He probably didn't expect me to step in, but what I did was too little to avert his suspicion of Satoshi-kun. Oishi believed that Satoshi-kun did it. He was waiting for Satoshi-kun to fall apart and confess. That's what both Oishi and I were thinking. But that hypothesis was destroyed later on. I'll not talk about it now, but Oishi's theory will be disproven and the police will be thrown into shock. A question comes to mind. That is, who saved Satoshi-kun? I can only think of the possibility that the Sonozaki family invented the culprit. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 6. I was actually expecting it to be a bit longer, but I need to go get food. I am really hungry, so I'm gonna go get food. Alright, I'll probably end today there, and I might be streaming tomorrow, playing White Noise 2 with Leon, if we can find a time. Not sure when that'll be, but we'll figure it out. Let me go find somebody to raid. Aw, let me see. Let's go raid Emsley. I've not raided her yet. So, go check her out. She's super, super sweet. She is playing Valorant right now. So, I will definitely play the Higurashi again, especially for Spooktuber. So things are going to get really interesting at the end of this chapter, and I'm excited to see how this chapter actually ends after such a long break from it. So, exciting. So, thanks everybody for coming to stream. I will be playing this again, hopefully very soon, and I will be playing some other spooky games this month, so look out for that. And I will see you all next time.